Jared Goff. Jared Goff.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Here we go, everybody. It's a Monday edition of Locked On Lions right here in the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It's a Monday, May 13th and a Tuesday, May 14th. Thanks for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Huge news today. Yes, the Lions have signed their quarterback. They have re-signed their quarterback. They have locked up their quarterback, Jared Goff, to a brand spanking new deal that makes him the second highest paid quarterback in the entire NFL. All of that to be discussed today right here on Locked On Lions. Thanks for checking us out wherever you get your podcast. That includes on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Please subscribe and find us for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. The program today brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Follow us on Twitter at Derry Speaks. That's DERY Speaks. At Locked On Lions on Twitter. Matt Derry Facebook fan page. And again, thank you to our everydayers that are out there. So many of you chiming in from Friday's show, which we will get into, where we talk to Locked On Packers troll host Pete Bukowski. No, not Pete Bukaki. Call him by his proper name, Peter Bukowski. We will get into that later on. But let's start with the news of the day. I was in a meeting today. I was late, running late this afternoon. I look at my phone. I got 57 text messages. I'm like, well, Goff must have signed. Jared Goff, 4 years, $212 million to stay with the Lions. That's $53 million per year. If you don't do a little AAV, average annual, whatever. And man, how about that? $170 million guaranteed. So the Lions have plunked down $444 million total on 3 players this offseason to keep long-term. Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and now the quarterback, Jared Goff. Now, some of you might be thinking certain things. Some of you might be going, wait a minute. He got $50 million a year? He's not that good. Come on, let's see Hendon Hooker. No. Let's talk about this for a second. Let's give Jared Goff a little credit here. Over the past 2 seasons, he ranks top 4 in the NFL in passing yards, passing touchdowns, touchdown to interception ratio, and first down rate. 9,013 passing yards, 59 passing touchdowns over the last 2 years, 3.1 TD to interception, 38% first down percentage. Let's use our good friends to the north and west as a prime example, the Chicago Bears. All right, bear down, Chicago Bears, right? The Chicago Bears think they've got their quarterback. Think they've got their quarterback in the future. They believe that Caleb Williams is the guy. He might be. When was the last time the Chicago Bears knew, not thought, knew that they had their quarterback? Anybody? 1986, 87, Jim McMahon? Did they think they had their guy in Rex Grossman that took him to the Super Bowl? No, he was not the guy. What about Mike Tomczak? What about Jay Cutler? What about Justin Fields? What about, oh God, who's the former Lion that was there? He went back and beat the Lions. We go on and on. The Chicago Bears have not had a quarterback that they've known has been their guy since the Super Bowl shuffle team. I was 12. I'm 50 now. The Detroit Lions know they have their guy, and it was time to pay up. I think the back and forth between Lions brass and Goff's agent definitely surrounded the number. Of course. You look up and you say, all right, who are the highest paid quarterbacks in this league right now? Joe Burrow makes $55 million a year. Justin Herbert makes $52.5 million a year. Over the last couple of years, who's won more games? Jared Goff or Joe Burrow? Jared Goff or Justin Herbert? Now, is Joe Burrow better than Jared Goff? Yes. Yes, he is. And Joe Burrow took a downtrodden Cincinnati Bengal franchise in a better conference, the AFC, to the Super Bowl a few years ago, only to lose to the Rams in a game in which Joe Burrow was not protected. He nearly got decapitated. All right? Timing is everything. Kirk Cousins just got 4 years and $45 million a year from the Falcons, and then the Falcons drafted his replacement. So Jared Goff was going to get more than Kirk Cousins. Jared Goff just won 2 playoff games. You look and you see that Lamar Jackson makes $52 million a year. Lamar Jackson's damn good. Lamar Jackson is better than Jared Goff. Jalen Hurts is at 51. I mean, I could keep going. Patrick Mahomes is underpaid at 45. But Jared Goff has done so much for this franchise. His name is yelled at every venue, concerts, kids' baseball games, Red Wings, Pistons. Shout out to you Pistons fans, man. Oh, God. I'm so sorry. Tigers, all of them. Grand Rapids Griffins. Jared Goff. He's the guy. And messing around with this, dilly-dallying about 47, 48, 51, 53, 50. The Lions looked up and said, let's pay him. Let's do this. Is it a 6-year deal? Is it a 7-year deal? It's going to take him till he's 36? No. He's 29, and he got a 4-year extension. So he'll play on this year, and then 4 more years at $212 million, getting $170 million guaranteed. And for the numbers he's put up, for the way he's played, for the way he's led this team, he deserves it. Could you make an argument that Justin Herbert is better? Is Patrick Mahomes better? Is Lamar Jackson better? Is Jalen Hurts better? It's not about that. It's about timing. It's about when the contract is up. And it's about paying the most important position on the field. Do you want to go back to Greg Landry or Bob Galliano or Eric Kramer or Andre Ware or John Kitna, Mike McMahon, Dan Orlovsky? Do you want to wonder why Ware doesn't play? Do you want to wonder how much longer Rodney Peete has in the tank? Remember those days? Do you want to wonder if Matt Stafford can win a playoff game in Detroit? Matthew Stafford went on to win a Super Bowl somewhere else. He's excellent. And Matthew Stafford is probably going to demand Goff-like money soon enough. Jared Goff will not be the second highest paid quarterback in the league for long. Someone else will get 54, 55, 57. It's only going up because the price of doing business in the NFL starts and ends with quarterback. The Minnesota Vikings last year had a really good, overachieving defense with the best receiver in the game. Could never figure out quarterback once Kirk Cousins got hurt. The Chicago Bears have not won since 1985. Haven't had a quarterback. Even on some decent Bears teams that made the playoffs under Lovie Smith that went to the Super Bowl, it was Jay Cutler or Rex Grossman. The Green Bay Packers win and have won a lot, much to Lions fans' chagrin about Peter Bukowski. But regardless, why have the Packers won? Because they've had a quarterback. Went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, who just won a road playoff game in his first year as a full starter in Dallas, nonetheless. Got to have the guy under center. Cleveland Browns, since they have come back, haven't won squat. Look at all the quarterbacks. I'm going to list them all. Tim Couch, Charlie Fry, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, who stinks now. When were the Browns good? The 80s, when they went to 3 out of 4 AFC championship games, and the Lord and Savior himself, Bernard J. Kosar, was their quarterback. They won when they had Bernie. When the Steelers had good quarterbacks in Ben Roethlisberger, they won. When they had Mark Malone, they lost. I'm not saying it's everything, but it's everything. Yeah, but what about Trent Dilfer? Yes, because you have the greatest defense in the history of the game in Baltimore. Got to have the Q, as my buddy Rob Rubik would say. God bless the Lions. Shout out to Sheila Hamp. Yes, Rod Wood and the Lions franchise. Everybody associated for getting this done. Now there's going to be no more talk about it. There's going to be no whispers about Hendon Hooker having a great August. Jared Goff is the guy. He led you to the NFC Championship game. Was it his fault Josh Reynolds dropped 2 passes? Was it his fault? Was it his fault they went empty on 4th and 1 with no back in the backfield? No. Kudos to the Lions. What does all of this mean, though, in the grand scheme of things about this franchise? Something is different. We will tell you about that coming up next, right here on Locked On Lions, a Monday edition. All right, folks, passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. That's ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Back in a Monday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Matt Derry with you. Jared Goff is now the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL. He gets $53 million a year. For the old schoolers that are out there going, wait a minute, hold on a second here. Like, really? Is Jared Goff an all-pro? Is Jared Goff even a second-team all-pro? Has he ever, been the best quarterback in his own league? Maybe not. Probably not. You look at the NFC right now, there's good quarterbacks. Jared Goff's one of the better ones. Is he elite? No. But again, you're paying for past performance, but also future results. And you know that if you let him walk or you franchise tag him or anything like that takes place, you start messing with a good thing, you're in trouble. And credit to the Lions. Again, the history of this franchise, the fact that, and I don't want to rub salt in the wound and upset my fan base, but let's talk about this for a second and be honest with it. This organization for decades was bottom of the barrel. It was basement. It was toilet. 0-16. Bad quarterbacks, bad decision makers, bad players, bad rosters, bad coaches, and bad ownership. This woman, Sheila Hamp, has green-lighted over $440 million of extensions for players. It's telling the fans, it's telling the organization, it's telling the roster and the players within the organization, you do well, we're going to take care of you. What do they always say? The fish rots from the head. Right? Like, you look at bad franchises around professional sports. Wouldn't know about any of those around here. Starts at the top. The very top. You got to be strong at the top. You got to be organized. You got to develop a culture and a place where people want to be. Jared Goff left LA, not on his own accord, was dumped to Detroit in the Matthew Stafford trade as kind of an also-ran, like, we'll give you our quarterback. See ya. Flicked into the ashtray of society, Seinfeld trademark. Cosmo Kramer, pipe night for Matthew Stafford. And Brad Holmes took a chance on him, gave him the keys to the kingdom, and in 3 years, this team went to the NFC Championship game, and he was the quarterback. He was the catalyst. He was the leader. So Lions history is being rebuffed a little bit. It's refreshing. You should be excited. Now, am I worried about Dan Campbell and why he wasn't at mini camp and personal reasons? I don't know what's going on there. And no one's saying anything, which scares me a little bit. I hope everything's okay. Little fishy. Hope everything's all right. But you got faces of this franchise that are winning. Dan Campbell is a winner. He's proven it. Brad Holmes is people love this guy for what he's done. And Jared Goff has been the trigger man here. He stayed healthy. He won you. He outplayed Aaron Rodgers in week 18 2 years ago and sent Aaron Rodgers packing for the last time as a Packer. When does that ever happen to us? When does it ever happen to the Detroit Lions? Remember Scott Mitchell being made fun of for being a little overweight and throwing the ball to the other team and getting testy? And we weren't proud of guys like that. Scott Mitchell was actually pretty decent. But now we're chanting this guy's name. And yes, I know $53 million a year is a ton of money. You may be saying to yourself, wait a minute, $53 million a year? Have you gone into the NBA and looked at some of those contracts? Anybody? Have you seen what the Cavs paid Max Strus? Max Strus could walk down Woodward at 4 years and $67 million and people would not know who he was. All right. Guys are being overpaid in every sport. This is how it goes. But quarterback in the NFL, look at how many teams aren't sure they've got the guy that they had to go out and draft. Minnesota wasn't sure. Still not sure. Chicago, the Raiders, Denver, Pittsburgh, New Orleans. The list goes on and on. Atlanta's not even sure. And they got Kirk Cousins. Carolina know for sure that their guy's the guy? No. Only a handful of teams that know, and the Lions know. So you got to reward that. So kind of bucking the trend of history is pretty amazing. It's pretty darn cool. And man, that's a lot of cash. But last season, 4,575 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 2 playoff victories, and a single postseason for the first time since 1957. And as I said, he's won. Over the last 2 years, he's helped the Lions win 21 games. Franchise record for most victories in any 2-season span. 78 touchdowns, 27 interceptions in 3 years. And you're going to let that walk over what? A few $1 million a year? Nope. Lions said, let's do it. Brad Holmes said, we're making this a priority. Remember when the Lions said, oh, Barry Sanders is fine. And he walked. Oh, Calvin? Oh, no, he's fine. He walked. Because those are bad regimes. This is a day to celebrate, Lions fans. It is. This is cool. Another star player, star-ish player is staying. And the ownership and the organization is paying him. Are your season ticket prices going up? Of course. We know that already. They're going to go up some more? Probably. But we're dying for a winner in this town. We got one. Finally. Lord knows the other 3 teams aren't winning. All right. Come on now. So I think it's cool. And it just shows the dedication and the thirst to win in this town. And for Jared Goff, he wants to be here. Kid from California, started in LA, made a Super Bowl at the Rams, got shipped here, he and his fiance, and all they've done is embrace this town, embrace this fan base. He gets a little salty at the media, so what? Wants to be here. And the 2 sides agreed to a deal, and now it's out of the way. This is May 13th. This is awesome. No talk about this at training camp, no distractions, nothing. Nada. Pretty sweet. All right, coming up next, yes, we must address what took place Friday on this very program. I don't know what to say, but I will say something. Coming up next right here on LO Lions. Matt Derry here to tell you about FanDuel. It's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. We got Tiger Ball this week, Major League Baseball against the Marlins. We got NBA playoffs, like I said, NHL, all going on. You want to bet on the games, you can do so right here on FanDuel. New customers get $150 in bonus bets. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. You can do future bets on FanDuel. Lions over under is what, 10.5 wins? You want to go over, you want to go under? You can bet on that. You can bet on the Packers at 9.5 and thumb your nose at Peter Bukowski. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel is and will always be America's #1 sportsbook. So many of you have chimed in on the Twitter machine at Derry Speaks in regards to what took place Friday on this very podcast, Locked On Lions. We appreciate you checking us out wherever you get your podcast. But on Friday, we reluctantly put Locked On Packers host Peter Bukowski on the program. Peter Bukowski is famous for stirring up, you know what, loves his Packers, and he basically admitted last week on Twitter and then reiterated on his own show that he believes the Green Bay Packers have a better roster than the Lions. He came on the show on Friday and he just kept talking. When I told him, you can't take the Packer tight ends over the Lions because the Lions have a Pro Bowl elite tight end in Sam Laporta. Oh, well, he was talking about Tucker Kraft. Okay, that's cute. Offensive line. He mentioned pass block win rate. I said, bro, the Lions offensive line is the second best offensive line in football. The Packers are ranked 11th according to PFF. Yeah, but run blocking, yes, but pass blocking, no. Pass block, win rate, Packers are this, Packers are that. He also would take Jordan Love, who's had one half of one good season, over Jared Goff. Again, he's wrong. I gave him the wide receivers because I wasn't going to argue that all night. But if Jamison Williams has the kind of year we're expecting him to have, the Lions will win that too because Amon-Ra St. Brown is the best of the lot. The Packers have some very good depth at wide receiver. I like Wicks. I like Reed. Christian Watson, when healthy, is good, and I'm a big Romeo Doubs fan. They got a nice group of young receivers. Lions have the best of the lot, though, in St. Brown. Defense, we argued it a little bit, but mostly a lot of it was offense. But for those of you that were chiming in on YouTube and your comments on Twitter, remember this. This is show business a little bit. This is entertainment. We're supposed to have some fun. Taking personal shots at Pete, who did apologize for his Flint water joke, which he said was uncalled for and he was wrong about. I accepted his apology. Here's the bottom line. Over the last 2 years, Packer fans like Pete cannot and will not accept that this Detroit Lions team is different. That this Detroit Lions organization actually knows what they're doing. And Packer fans can't take it. 2 years ago, the cute, cuddly little Lions in their all-white uniforms spoiled Aaron Rodgers' last game as a Packer and kicked Green Bay out of the playoffs. All the Packers had to do was win. Lions were playing for nothing. That still sticks in the craw of Pete and Packer Nation. It just does. The Lions punched the Packers in the balls that night. Last year, Thursday Night Football, early in the year, same thing. Lions went into Lambeau and just made mincemeat of the Packers. And it wasn't just Goff through the air. David Montgomery was running at like 6-7 yards a pop. The Lions offensive line pancaked the Packers. Now, to Green Bay's credit, Jordan Love started getting hot. Lions got a little tired around Thanksgiving, and the Packers whooped on the Lions pretty good. Love to Watson. It was a bleep show. Lions have since corrected their mistakes in that secondary, and I still believe are the better team. So this notion that the Packers have a better roster based on they addressed more needs and have more depth than the Lions, I don't agree with Pete about. I know a lot of you got angry with him. He's a person. Can we not get too personal and call him names and get crazy? Come on. But there's a reason Vegas has the Lions at 10.5 wins and over under, and the Packers at 9.5. The Lions have a really, really good team. And adding the likes of Ennis Rakestraw Jr. and Terry and Arnold, all right, and replacing Jonah Jackson, who struggled at times last year, with a really solid Kevin Zeitler. And if you get a healthy Marcus Davenport, I believe he's going to do a good job. James Houston, you hope to have for a full season. DJ Reader is a monster. What a pickup that was. And even Peter said that the other day. I love Reader. And the Packers love Terry Ann Arnold too. And we're likely going to draft him at number 25. Oh, sorry. Brad Holmes traded up to 24 to get him. Oh, but you could have had Brian Branch last year. Oh, you traded the pick to the Lions. Green Bay has a good team. And they're going to be right there with the Lions, I think, all year. I think those two games are going to be great football games. And Matt LaFleur is a damn good coach. And the Packers probably should have beaten the Niners too in the playoffs last year. The Lions are still better. They are. All right, I can breathe again. All right, here we go. That is your Monday Locked On Lions. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Tell your friends about us. Subscribe on YouTube. We'll be back again tomorrow for another edition of Locked On Lions. Wednesday night, a later evening pod following the schedule release. You're not going to want to miss that.